Everybody. Hello. Awesome. Welcome to the On Demand today. And we've got 5 days of revenue generating. And I want to just give you a little bit of inspiration. I will tell you that there is no dream inside your heart that is not available for you to create. And there's no problem that you have that cannot be solved. Do you guys, do you believe me? Like there's absolutely no way that you have a problem in your life that somebody hasn't solved before. Okay, like I just got off the phone with someone. It's just a tough moment. There's somebody who's very, very young who passed away in this community, and like super dad, super husband, and nobody really knows what happened. It could be a heart attack, a stroke, but he's very young. He's not like even in his 50s or his late 40s. I share that with you because the question always comes down to, how do I deal with some of these hard moments, whether it's somebody passing away or whether it's your bank account's empty, which sounds so trivial when it comes to life, right? But it's like our problems, the problems that we're facing, they feel tight, right? Like they create restriction inside of us. And I always think it, like, you know, for not having a lack of empathy, meaning that with all empathy, it's just when the hardest moments in life happen, it really either brings a blessing of urgency, a blessing of self-worth. I mean, it was probably about 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, that I went from hitting it on a bike and riding, cycling, 4 hours a day and running, an hour and a half after that cycling, and just running my body at that level. Not saying that there isn't some benefit to that, but it's tough on your body. Do you know what I mean? Like, or doing the master cleanse diet, like every couple months because I wanted to get in shape. You know what I mean? Or I wanted to lose some extra weight, but it wasn't because I was trying to be healthy. It was because of something aesthetic. And I only share that with you right now because when hard things happen in our life, it reality checks us. Does that make sense, you guys? Like, it reality checks us. And there was years ago where I made a decision that I was not going to be broke anymore. Like, I was like, I'm not being broke anymore. I'm not going to check price tags. I'm not going to be the type of person that literally, I'm just not going to have money control me. Do you know what I'm saying? And if you don't have any, it controls you. Whether you like to admit it or not, it does. You want to give to somebody and you think, I can't do that. Like, I realistically can't. I hate that word. I realistically can't. That is code for I got comfortable with my state on where I'm at. And by the way, I know a lot of people could be so angry hearing me say this, but when I was broke, when I was struggling really, now I'm not talking the way out of it, right? On the way out of it, when you're working, it's different. But I'm talking when I sat around and every freaking day, the sun would go down. Every day. And if I was really honest with myself, and I know some of you guys listening right now, this is maybe a bit of a kick in you know what, it's like, you don't have to live that way. And not one of us is getting any younger. I remember starting triathlons, asking my triathlete coach, am I too old? It's so funny, right? When I started, I think I was 26 or 27, and I felt too old. Now I'm like, geez, you know what I mean? But I felt too old when I started triathlons. I was like, am I too old? And I share this with you because I just don't think you should not let another year go by where you don't know how to at least create the revenue you want and do what it takes on a daily basis to do that. Okay. And so some of you guys know that I don't want to go over priority focus time again. I am going to go over it next month because I would like to put everybody on priority focus for next month. Who's game with me? Put me in the chat if you are game to run your calendar exactly how I run it. And we will track. I want you to track on a wall though. Can you get a wall size Post-it, like a wall size big white? I don't care if you take your Christmas paper and stretch it across the wall and use that as your wall size Post-it on the other side. Doesn't make a difference to me, but I want something big. I want a good big wall size Post-it. And I want you to ask yourself, what type of revenue do you want to make? I mean, of course we still got this month, right? But what type of revenue do you want to make next month? And I don't want you to just guess. Like, some of you guys know, but it's like, I want you to get real serious with yourself. What's it going to take for you to create a certain amount of revenue that you're actually going to feel like some of the resistance open? Okay, now let me address if you're someone who has a lot of debt. Okay, so on debt, you still pay yourself first and then start paying your debt. I'm telling you, something happens to your energy. You open up when you've got a nest egg. Okay, and so back to the health part. When you have high self-worth, you will invest in things. If you can't cook, like me, or you just don't have time to cook, like me, both of those, I check both boxes. I had to get over the conversation of investing in a cook. Okay, and so I'm not having a high level conversation with you right now. You could be making $6,000 or $7,000 a month. If you're not at least making that, what are you doing? And yes, I am bringing it up like this. I am being the unpopular mentor because it's like, seriously. I mean, if you just say, think about this. If you just say, I'm going to sell something for $3,000 and enroll 3 people, you're making $9,000 a month. So what's your block? I don't know what to sell for $3,000. So frickin' figure it out. Make a decision. I know it's not easy, but it's a lot harder not making decisions to figure out what you could sell for $3,000. Are you hearing me? Like, so what, you're just going to let months, years, decades pass because you won't face the daunting decision of what can I put in a packaged product or service for $3,000? Every single one of you that has a voice could give advice. And there is nobody here. I don't care if you think you're the biggest degenerate on this planet. You have something valuable to say, to add to somebody's life. Every single person could give advice, even if you don't want to, right? Like, even if you're like, I want to be a coach, I want to be a mentor. Okay, great, but you're going broke. So what if you just did it for like 5 months, 6 months, 1 year? Well, you built out your dream to be able to cash flow it, or go get a loan, go into credit card debt. Oh, I'm already in credit card debt. Yeah, probably off stupid shit. Do you know what I mean? Now, some of you guys, it might be off medical. Okay, so let's get rid of it. Have you looked up 0% interest credit cards? Well, I got bad credit. So, you can fix your credit. Between $1,000 and $3,000 for most people, you can fix your credit. You're more than welcome to message me on Instagram. I'll give you my guy. I really should give this to you, Keith, so that if people ask for it, because I become admin. But if you want to find me on Instagram and you have bad credit, I'll give you my guy 100%. He will not scam you. Okay, I've hired people to fix my credit years ago when I made bad decisions, and my credit got slammed. I ended up getting 3 foreclosures in 2008, and I had to clean that up. And so I hired a guy. You're welcome to message me on Instagram. It's going to cost you anywhere, most likely between $1,000 and $3,000. He cleared three foreclosures off my record. It took about 6 months. That's called vision. You got to get out of where you're at. I would thankfully pay that $3,000 again. Why? Because then I could go get credit extended to me. Does that make sense? Like, now, if you're someone who always does what it takes, or you got people around you that believe in you, and you're someone who actually keeps your word, then you could go get a note from a friend for maybe 1 year and pay them interest on that note. Okay, like, there is a way. But if nobody trusts you, you got to stand in front of the mirror today and let my words ring in your head. You are not a loser. There is nothing wrong with you. You just have gotten comfortable with literally being uncomfortable and not having what you want, which is actually a quality you need to have to get out of your comfort zone. So in all due respect, if you're comfortable with the uncomfortable of living without, you 100% could do what it took today to repair your reputation and repair your self-worth with yourself and generate $3,000 sales probably in the next 2 weeks. But you're going to have to make some decisions, aren't you? Well, Shannon, I don't give advice. I don't care. If what I'm saying is important right now to you, meaning that you want to generate income, then what would it look like if you had 3 people depend on you for something specific? You guys hearing what I'm saying? Like, you know how many people have told me, I don't want to teach social media training, or I don't want to teach this, or I'm like, but you're freaking broke. So what you're saying to me is I can't trust you to do what it takes to create a result. So if I give you money, you would be a high risk, because if you don't like what you're doing, you're going to quit. Because that's the same mentality. Can you guys hear me on this? Put yes if you can. If you're confused, put confused in the chat. Like, just give me feedback. Are you understanding what I'm saying? The only way that somebody is, eventually you're going to need money. Money more than the money you have, even if you're making millions. If you actually have a true heart to change people's lives in whatever factor, health, marriage, whatever, if you really do, then if you could actually learn, I want you to follow my problem solving in my brain. Because some people are not going after big things because they just don't want to go that big. But you only don't want to go that big because you think you're going to have to wear every hat. If there were people in the world that just came around you and let you help 1 or 1,000 people, how many people would you rather help? 1 or 1,000? Just follow me here. Play the game. 1 or 1,000, right? For real, go in the chat. Don't just stare at me, Patrick. Go in the chat, right? Tell me, 1 or 1,000, right? Okay, so every single person has put 1,000 or 10,000 or something, right? And so I have not seen 1. You know why? Because you're a good human being. And if you could help 1,000 people with the time that you spend on this life versus 1, you should pick 1,000. So the challenge is we don't pick that because it feels like too much somewhere. Which is why I say that every single person will need more money than you can generate at some point. And that's where partnership comes in. That's where funding comes in. That's where whatever it looks like. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, that's where getting access to more cash, and your reputation needs to be in check. So let's go back to the beginning. How you deal with today, how you deal with the rest of the days of this month is your reputation. Your reputation with yourself and your reputation with the people who are following you around your life. It could be your husband, your wife, your sister, your mother, your brother. The people that you complain to are the ones that know you're not doing what it takes. Because if you're still complaining about the same thing, what you're actually saying is, surrender flag, I actually don't know how to change this. Okay? Or I won't change it. I won't make the decision. So I'm going to encourage you today, as we're looking at revenue generating activity, every single person can give advice. And there are people online that if you did a specific video, or you guys who have done email lists and text message lists with me today. Imagine, like I was just doing, we were just talking earlier today about some Facebook, Instagram, YouTube ads that we're putting out, and we're doing it for the On-Demand Mastermind. And I said, you know, our CMO said, you really need empathy. People need to understand that you understand them. That's why I love Gome. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not like, let's crush them, let's get them, he's always been the type of person that, like 4 years ago when we ran together, he's always been the type of person that has first thought about the customer or client versus the money that we make. And we crush it financially together, right? And so because his heart, if you think of like his heart starts with taking care of other people. So he said to our ads guy, he said, we really need empathy. And I said, yeah, I was like, the truth is the on-demand mastermind, which is what we do when we turn off the stream on social media. These guys are all on Zoom with us right now, right, guys? And on the on-demand mastermind, I was thinking about all the different education I've done to try and grow my business. And there's been moments that I've let myself down, and there's been moments that I feel, actually, it's all I've let myself down. Because even when I've joined masterminds, there's many times that I didn't use my voice. And I would go to these masterminds and I would just wait for them to tell me the education. Now, this is going to wake a lot of people up right now. I just show up and I just wait to see what they train me on. You guys hear what I'm saying? So, like, is that their problem or is that our problem as an entrepreneur? When I blamed it on the other masterminds, well, then I was a victim. And then I'd be scared to join another mastermind, and that's not going to serve me, right? And so this is literally our experience, like writing ads today. And I started to walk and I started to say, you know what? The truth is like, I was so tired of being disappointed, because the first thing I wanted to do was say, I wanted to kind of, instinctually knock down what's wrong in the industry. Does that make sense? It's easy for me to see what's wrong in the industry. Easy. Because there ain't one of you guys watching right now that doesn't have a gap. Right? Like, there's not one of you. None of you guys don't have a gap. So it'd be really easy for me to destroy other people to be right. Are you guys hearing me right now? Yes, like it'd be really easy for me to make other people wrong in order for me to be right. This is high level leadership. It doesn't always apply with my husband. But I get here. I do get here. I get to this place. But it's really easy to blame somebody else or an industry. Are you guys following me? And make myself right about everybody else's gaps. And so I said, I don't want to write copy like that. And Gome doesn't want to write copy like that. And I was like, really what I'm disappointed at is I was disappointed with the results that I was getting. I was disappointed that things weren't moving fast enough. I was disappointed that I would get excited about things and it would feel like the rug was pulled out from underneath me, literally, to the point where I started to be fearful about getting excited. Anybody else experience that? It's almost like I didn't want to let myself get too excited because like I didn't trust the excitement. Like I didn't trust anything was going to come through. Anybody else feel like that? Put the word trust if you can relate to me right now. Put the word trust if you can relate to me right now. So like Jill's like, yes, I'm there right now, right? And so when I really tapped into that empathy, I was like, that's the perfect ad. So I want you to stop right now. And if you're not driving, grab a piece of paper. And I want you to think about your ideal customer or client. Because if we're going to generate revenue, like I actually expect you to generate revenue today because I hold you that high. The worst thing you could do is, and I'm told this all the time, I am told to train content on other people's platforms that is dumbed down so that just people will listen, but they're not really getting anywhere. And I'm really committed to being distinctive in that area. And I'm saying, no, I'm not going to dumb myself down. You rise up. You rise up. You make some decisions. If you wanted $9,000, you $3,000 packages. $3,000 is easy to sell. I don't care if you say you can bring a friend for $3,000 and cut that cost in half, but you still made $3,000 sales. That's $9,000. This on-demand stream could 100% generate you $9,000. That's not an income claim. But if you actually decided to grab a hold of that, I am certain you could figure out something to add in that $3,000. I am certain that you could find between now and the end of the month, probably at least 5 or 10, maybe 20 people that you could talk to. Not sitting in your freaking house staring at the Instagram, but actually going to, where's a meetup group in my area? Where's a women's association, a men's association? Where's a real estate conference? I don't know, but there is something going on in your city, or maybe you have to drive 2 hours to get there because you live in the middle of nowhere. Then are you willing to drive 2 hours to make 9,000? Well, maybe not if you make a lot of money. But if you don't make a lot of money and you're not willing to do that, mayday, mayday, we have a problem. And I'm telling you, I'm going to kind of get godly on you for a second. Why would God give you more people to lead if you won't get out of your house and drive 2 hours when you are in need? If you won't do it for you, how do you ever think, whether you call God the universe or whatever, how do you ever think this world is going to bless you with more when you haven't passed the test with taking care of you? Is anybody hearing me here? Okay, so you don't get to go to the next grade of entrepreneurship, the next responsibility, because every grade we go up, we have a new sense of responsibility. You don't get, like, you wouldn't hand the keys to your car to somebody who'd never driven before, or somebody who'd been in 6 accidents, or you wouldn't do that. That would just not be right. So I want to challenge you here, because I know you're capable. There is a very loud Caribbean bird behind me. Very, very loud. It's very cool, but it's very, very loud, and I can't control it. It's unfortunate for me right now. Because I don't have ADD, but you guys who do are like, so I want to chat. Did you guys all come? Are you trying to get some education here? So I can't do on demand in my house because my kitchen counters are being pulled up right now and they're drilling inside. So it's cracking me up. So I honestly can tell you that when you get perspective, when I've gotten perspective, every big problem that I've had has always come down to my standard. So like driving 2 hours when I was broke, I didn't do it because I just didn't think anything would happen. But the truth is nothing happened because I didn't do it. Right? And so you're guaranteeing the lack expanding, because lack is a thought process, and that thought goes to action. And so you got to change the thought, and you got to be like, but what if? So everybody write this down. I always say, what if? I'm always saying, what if, right? Like, what if it did work? What if it did work? And that's what gets me unleashed to make the decision. So if you were to sell something for $3,000, and you could put in any price point today, okay? You would have to decide on what that was. So I give you 15 minutes to figure that out. And then ask yourself, do you believe in that offer? If the answer is no, add to it. I don't care if you give away the kitchen sink. What I more care about is that you go generate income today. And then you have to figure out who needs this, who could use this, who would value this. What's the problem they're facing right now? You should be writing this down, because this is how I work out a Facebook ad, a YouTube ad, a video, my social media. Who would value this? Well, value comes down to paying for it. At what level would they value this? Like, is this a 10 out of 10 urgency, or is it a 4 or 5? If it's a 4 or 5, you need to add to it. I'm telling you exactly how to problem solve this, which is all creativity. You got to problem solve what you put in it, because it needs to be like, really, it needs to be an 8, 9, or 10 urgency for you to not have to be good at sales. If you're very, very good at sales, you could probably sell a 4 or 5 and raise the urgency by managing people's minds, because a lot of times people don't realize that their life is passing them. But the truth is there's a group of people that if you got clear about what is a 8, 9, 10 urgency in this topic of value to them, and you actually just spoke directly into it like I did just now, like there is nothing worse than being afraid to go after it, because when you get excited about something, you've been let down so many times, whether it's by yourself or other people, you've been let down so many times, you almost don't know what it feels like to go all in again, or you almost don't know if you can trust going all in, because you might miss an opportunity that would actually grow or build your business. And so because you're worried about not missing an opportunity, you won't get niched out. So you're broad, so you're broke. You won't drive 2 hours to go into a network or an association to actually get connected with people because you haven't done what it takes to grow an email list or a text message list, right? So you've got to drive 2 hours. If you build an email list or a text message list, you don't have to drive 2 hours, right? But I want to spend 60 days doing that. I need it now. Do you know how many people say stuff like that to me? I'm like, well, you didn't know me before now, and you lived up to this time. Can you go 60 more days? Because it's what it's going to take. You get what I'm saying? Like, so create the content where you go right into the moment, whether it's an email, whether it's a blog. Do you know every single one of you guys could go and you can search guest blog post in your industry, guest blog post wealth, guest blog post marriage, guest blog post parenting, guest blog, and you're going to start to find blogs that bring on guest bloggers. Well, I'm not a good writer. Well, you write something from the context I just taught you and go to ChatGPT and ask them to write it in direct response marketing. And then ask ChatGPT to add a call to action to book a call with you. Like, do you see how easy money is to make? What if you did 10 of those and wrote one, empathetic message and asked ChatGPT to spruce it up? Spruce it up like Brene Brown. Spruce it up like, I don't know, your favorite author that you resonate with. You resonate with them because you like them, right? But then ask ChatGPT after it writes it to add a call to action to let's talk. Let's talk about this issue in your life. Let's talk about, and what if you just did that? Oh, well, I don't want to do that. Well, then just freaking well be resistant. Because every time you do something new, it's going to feel weird. But every single person on here watching right now, if you're on social media, share this, right? Like, be a giver, share this, like, go up to the top. It's wild. It's like, 20 people share it. And it's just like, no wonder you ain't making it, because you got to be an evangelist for not just your products and services, but other people that you are winning with, right? You're watching this live, you should be sharing it, right? And I'm telling, and you should be talking to other people like this, because it's true. If people just consume and don't share, I'm telling you, that's a heart thing. And a heart goes back to your thinking, and the thinking goes back to your actions. God does not bless stingy people who don't make decisions and are scared to drive 2 hours away. He just doesn't, because it's not safe for people. Now, every single one of us, because I used to be that unsafe person, every single one of us can unhook from our trust issues and choose to trust again. I'm going to challenge all of you guys to maybe go out there and just get 5 or 6 blog postings, and around this community, start sharing what starts to happen. What if you got one client for $10,000 and you never were going to give advice anyway? You were courageous enough to make that offer. What if you got 16 at 2,000? What if you got 3 by the end of the month at 3,000? Well, all you had to do is make a decision on how you were going to give to them. And I'm telling you, it's this simple. When I got out of my own way, life changed, which is AKA code for when I stopped being self-centered on everything I was lacking and everything that I wasn't good at and everything that was going wrong in my life. And I started to operate the way I'm coaching you right now. And I just took a chance. Wow, did things change? My last thing I'm going to say today, and I'm going on Flex for the rest of the month. Okay, so I got Steven coming tomorrow. He's going to share, he did 99 campaigns. 99 campaigns out there, give campaigns. And he monetized all of them. I taught him that campaign. And he did it 99 times in just a couple years. And he monetized every single one of them. He's going to show you what he did. He's coming tomorrow. He's coming the next day. And then I'm actually have to get back with one other person that I want to bring on Friday to help you work on visioning. How do you actually envision where you're going past the blocks, which is perspective, right? How do you get above your problem, right? And how do you actually see above your problem and vision through that? Your money is determined on your altitude. And unfortunately, our attitude and our trust issues kind of pull us down. Me too, everybody. And that's why we need good people around us. So I'm trying to get this one person on Friday. She actually works for HeartCore, but I haven't gotten a confirmation yet that she's going to do Friday. So I want to make sure she can do Friday. And the recordings, Ruby, for you guys get emailed out to you. But the people who are not investing $30 a month on the getgoodcoaching.com, somebody put that in the chat. If you are not currently a Mentor Me Live client or 1%, then you need to pay $30 a month to actually get the on-demand part, which is when we stop going live on social media, which we're about to stop. We go to the Zoom and we do coaching on the Zoom. It's called our on-demand mastermind. If you want access to the recordings to study that, because you know Stephen's going to come and do part 1, part 2 on demand on the stream. But then he's going to get into the weeds with the people on the getgoodcoaching.com. So you guys who get getgoodcoaching.com, there's actually a membership where we actually put these in the Kajabi and we send them out. You can use the link. Okay. Sound good? So the last thing I want to say is if you're courageous enough to follow the coaching I gave you today and people don't say yes to you, because I'd like you to book them on your calendar. Okay. If they don't say yes to you, then what I would like you to do is ask them what was in between you and saying yes. Where has this product, program, or service, or VIP day, or whatever, where has this fallen short for you that if it was added, you would feel safe to say yes, right? Or you would be interested in this. They will give you the answer. That's your blind spot. So you got to be courageous enough. I'm going to end on this. You got to be courageous enough to be wrong. You got to be humble enough to ask where you can get better. And you got to be willing to get embarrassed and ask the question. So you got to face all your rejection issues. And then rejection won't have a hold on you anymore because it's a spirit. And it's a spirit that can be delivered off your life. So that's it, you guys. I'm going to miss you guys the rest of this month. I'll be back on February 5th, which we also start our list power training on February 5th. So if you need list building, go to retiremeshanda.com, retiremeshanda.com if you need list building, and you can jump into February 5th, 6th, and 7th. However, you guys on the on-demand, I'm still going to be with you next month. I will be popping on, doing the on-demand, and then going back to that workshop. Okay? Social media! Adios, you guys. Bye. I send you so much love.